Dmitry, it's a great pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, hello, my pleasure.
One of the things that fascinates me about you, so you're in the longevity industry, and I've been following you for probably about a year, a little over a year at this point. And what makes you unique in my mind is the fact that you're connected to so many different aspects of it. You're involved in the politics of longevity. You deal with the deep tech and emerging tech across AI and blockchain, biotechnology, data and analytics. When you're trying to describe, since it's so complex and you're so holistically involved, when you meet someone, how do you explain what you do and what your interests are?
Well, I'm co-founder and managing partner of Deep Knowledge Group. This is consortium of non-profit and for-profit organizations. We have two investment funds, Deep Knowledge Ventures. This fund is focused on more on deep tech and artificial intelligence. Longevity Capital, I think the name speaks for itself. We have a number of also, different non-profit initiatives. For example, for last 6 years, I'm managing trustee of Biogerontology Research Foundation. This charity in the UK, focused on particularly on science of aging and different projects related to longevity, aging research, and so on. And this charity actually was the first sponsor and supporter of establishment of all parties parliamentary group in the UK Parliament on longevity. And in our group, we also have a number of almost 10 analytical subsidiaries, specific companies focused on, particular domains, many of them in healthcare and biomedicine, including neurotech analytics, including deep pharma intelligence. But first of all, and the first one, which the company which we started back in 2013, it is Aging Analytics Agency, the only one specifically focused on aging and longevity analytical company in the world, to my knowledge at least. So this actually company, let's say this is the priority for me and for our group in general. And this company actually helped us since 2013 to aggregate a lot of knowledge and expertise in the longevity field. And based on the research of the company, we were able, to formulate what does it mean longevity industry, and to kind of break, to crack this over complexity, and to a little bit structure and visualize how do we see the framework of the industry, of this most complex industry in human history.
That's amazing. One of the things that I find interesting about longevity, and I've tried to have this conversation with people for years, is I don't want to die. Like, when would I die? And it usually comes down to people not wanting to suffer and have a certain quality of life. And one of the things that I get in and ultimately get into is, well, you get to choose to die. And that tends to eliminate the, well, I don't want to live forever conversation. What are you finding in your own dialogues with other people about continuing to expand the human lifespan?
Well, this is, psychological dilemma, which nothing to do with reality, in the sense that people are thinking one way, the reality will be different. If we are talking about life extension, we're not talking about artificial extension of unhealthy period of life when people are suffering. When we're talking about actual practical life extension, first of all, we're talking about extending healthy, active, productive period of life. And, and this, I think that many people will agree that they want to extend this period as long as possible.
Absolutely. How did you get into this entire world?
Well, back in 2013, I met several scientists. Before that, I heard about transhumanists. These ideas about immortality, about super, like radical life extension. To me, it was just nothing more than a sci-fi movie. Some kind of abstract ideas, nothing to do with reality or some practical application. Now, in 2013, I met several scientists. By the time, several of them actually were working in oncology space. Cancer, it's one of the one of the, let's say, simplest examples of aging-related disease, because probability of getting cancer increasing significantly with age, and at some point of time, if we long live enough, everybody of us will get cancer. But by the time in 2013, there were first projects applying data science, big data analysis, and some kind of basic technologies, artificial intelligence technologies for oncology research. And many of those people then transitioned from oncology research towards aging research. Through conversation with those people, I understood that practical life extension, this is not a theory, this is not a kind of fairy tale. This could be done, and it's what came up to my mind that probably it's not only scientific challenge, but also it's about administration, and management. So this is indeed quite complex field, and that is why it also requires new, modern, progressive approach for administration, management, optimization. So this is what we are doing over the last years, and this is where, let's say, we're achieving some positive results. And through this, for combination of right management, administration, financing, investment approaches, this is how we do see that we can provide some positive impact, and help the industry, including longevity, including scientific research, to be accelerated, to be optimized, and let's say enhanced in some capacity.
How, since it is a very on the edge industry, how do you think through what you want to invest in?
So within our framework, we identified 20 sectors of longevity industry. So there, of course, there's regenerative medicine, there is field of advanced science, including, for example, within scientific space. I would say that the most important, and actually, it's crucial for further development, positive development, healthy development of longevity industry on a global scale. The major challenge, the major problem, and the major bottleneck, it's biomarkers of aging and longevity. So without biomarkers, without tangible metrics, measurable metrics for how any given technology or specific drug or treatment providing positive, negative, or neutral effect, maybe just placebo effect. So without those metrics, all discussions about that will extend life of humans, this is just kind of abstract, nothing to do with actual practical pragmatic approach. And with biomarkers of aging longevity, many abstract topics becoming quite practically applicable to particular human life extension, not extension of life model organisms such as experiments on mice. So in other words, biomarkers, these are the tools how to apply scientific theoretical research to very practical applications on humans. On the other hand, by our estimations, the capitalization of longevity industry currently is $34 trillion, and biomedical field is only approximately 2 trillion, whereas age tech, for example, it's a technology for integration of elder care technologies with modern IT technologies and with mobile apps and so on. So this is age tech. It's also approximately 2 trillion on global scale, whereas quite significant portion it's national healthcare budget. Some of them actually already focus on preventive medicine rather than just reactive medicine, in a sense like treatment. So in some countries, the idea of monitoring and detection and prevention of disease in advance, it's already getting some traction. And it's approximately, it is estimated that longevity financial industry, this is approximately $15 trillion. Longevity financial industry is anything related to healthcare insurance companies, life insurance companies, pension funds, and many asset management firms. They are structuring financial products for the people who are actually planning to live beyond 100 years. Because if you're going to live longer than average, you also need to not only take care about your like health wellness, but also financial wellness, because you will need money, when you will be old, and not only money for living, but also paying bills for medical healthcare services. So that's why it's longevity financial industry. It's very important, and let's say in our investment strategies, we're currently focusing on development of biomarkers. So there are several projects which we are supporting, especially when they are applying data science, artificial intelligence for biomarkers of aging longevity. And the other direction, it's longevity fintech and longevity insurtech. So, modern progressive technologies being applied towards longevity financial industry. One of the examples, it's longevity banking card. This project just launching in London. So it's a marketplace for mobile apps. So, traditional, however, quite modern fintech solution in the form of marketplace, access through mobile app, but it is integrated also with banking card. And this is not just marketplace, it's, health tech, health, longevity, health, longevity, wellness marketplace. So users of those cards, they're getting discounts to those products and services. But also, those product services they created, so they are selected in a very specific way. So clients with longevity bank card, they are getting access not just to marketplace, but very specifically designed marketplace and with products specifically focused on, tied to the interest of people who are, let's say, willing to live a healthy lifestyle and actually living longer. But also, it's for people who are, let's say, older than 65. So it's, integration of age tech technologies. So it's specific product services focused on older people.
So B2C marketplaces split into two groups, one for 65 plus, improving health plus longevity.
Yes.
And then a younger demographic that has a desire for life extension.
Yes.
Okay. And are the insurance companies and healthcare providers getting connected into those marketplaces?
Yes, exactly. Because progressive insurance companies, which could be named nowadays, they're using insurtech, similar as fintech. This is insurtech, and there's also wealth tech, preservation of wealth in such a way that to plan your financial wellness, as I mentioned, beyond 80, beyond 90, beyond 100 years. Of course, the insurance companies, at least, progressive insurance companies, they're the best allies in this work, because for them, it is very natural. For them, if people are not getting diseases, if they're healthy, if they're, focused on the extension of healthy period of life, this is the best clients for insurance companies, healthcare insurance companies.
Because their ROI goes up because they don't have as much expenditure on the health challenges.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Now, when for the people that are wanting to live longer or infinity, so there's wealth management, and then you mentioned preventive care. What other considerations does the actual person need to think about?
Well, when we are talking about longevity, first of all, we are starting with monitoring and detection. So to prevent something, you first of all shall understand that something, some pathologies developing at the early stage, and interfere as early as possible, because this is about preventive medicine, and this is about preventive personalized precision medicine. But in a way, the ideal case scenario, when you are not getting to the point where you need precision medicine. So the ideal case scenario, when you stay in the stage of precision health, and this requires monitoring, analysis, and high frequency, let's say, checkups, and getting some analysis, some diagnostics, and this is routine approach to make it systematically and as often as possible. In the ideal case scenario, I would say that in the next 2-3 years, we'll see solutions already market ready and practically applicable solutions, whereas different detectors, different sensors will be embedded into the body, integrated with wearables, and integrated with smartphone, and all that will be integrated with cloud computing AI system, which will analyze, monitor, particular people, and they'll be all this will be integrated with panels of biomarkers of aging longevity, and those panels will be personally adjusted, because for different people will be required different specific tuning of those particular metrics according to let's say genetic background, but according to lifestyle, according to age, and multiple other specifics. For example, if you are currently in let's say in United States, and let's say you moved for vacations, some kind of south to ocean and to south, so it will be different temperature, it will be different humidity and different climate, and maybe even different food, and with that those kind of system for monitoring, it had to be a little bit adjusted.
So could it be one of the things, maybe even internal, some sort of medicine or pill that's taken that's smart and that sends a signal maybe through the smartwatch, the phone, whatever, and that goes back to a doctor?
Yes, I would foresee that it will be exactly that way.
Would it go straight to the doctor, or do you see some sort of maybe intermediary company that analyzes the data and then maybe has a platform that a doctor would subscribe to, and they push out the alerts to your primary healthcare physician?
Let's say there will be several tens of different companies which will provide a little bit different solutions with some advantage, disadvantage, with some specific tools and additional features. But in general, what you've said, it's I think that in general will be exactly that way, in the sense that there will be doctors, but you see, doctors who are treating diseases, they have different school, they have different even mindset, because they will be required doctors not about health, in the sense not healthcare, because it's not healthcare, it's sick care. So many doctors, they do not have a clue what does it mean longevity, what does it mean healthy longevity. They have some assumptions, but for that matter, how to preserve health of the client in the stage of precision health, this is different. This is different side of medicine, and this is this requires a little bit different teaching, different school, different approach, different mindset.
As this mentality takes root, and if it expands and becomes the dominant mindset, I kind of see it having a huge impact on something like the opioid crisis, because you're not prescribing something to deal with that's being reactive, as you mentioned, but since we're dealing with symptoms before they become inflamed, as it were, then why would you need the opioids to just mask something?
Yes, of course. I mean, the impact will be significant. It will be tremendous change, not only for people, but for industries and even for countries. Just imagine that, 5 years ago, to speak about it, when, for example, I was asked, how long are you going to live? And then I was answering, at least 120 years. So 5 years ago, the general perception of the public, and including media, it was not yet there, in the sense that it was normal to speak that I'm going to live up to 100 years. Now it is normal to speak. If I would say I'm going to live only 100 years, it would be recognized strange, because now general normal to say that I'm going to live up to 120 years. Many serious investors and financiers, even now, so bold that they're speaking that they are going to live up to 150 and even 200 years. My point is that it's now became also quite normal among politicians to speak about, extension of healthy period of life. In particular, for example, those parliamentarians who created this all parts parliamentary group on longevity in the UK Parliament. So this is their agenda. It's the, I mean, soon in, I would say maybe in the next 5 years, among politicians and among progressive governments, the topic of longevity and extension of healthy period of life for citizens, who are electing those politicians and parliamentarians and governments, will become normal to actually to put this agenda as one of the core strategies in their political agenda. And, my next book, which will be published in June, Longevity Politics, it will be about that matter, in the sense that technocracy-driven governments, they will have to address demands of citizens who will understand that progressive governments, progressive states, they can deliver actual, extension of healthy period of life for their citizens.
I imagine we're also going to have to have a different conversation around lifetime appointments for if people are going to be living 50, another 100 years, 150 years. You have something like in the United States with the Supreme Court. Do you have those people that remain there forever and they just decide to quit, or do we put term limits on that kind of role? That'll be interesting in terms of changes in society as far as government's concerned.
Well, of course, this changes. They will have impact on multiple aspects of society, and just kind of how people are, even their psychology, because when people on massive scale will understand that there are technologies out there which are capable to extend their health period of life, and I think that this will have significant impact on even it will be kind of cascade of changes, because all this is interconnected, and it will be changed on personal level, but also on a national level. And of course, this issues with let's say how long people shall stay at work and their positions, this will change, because we do see now that there is one billionaire in Singapore who's 101 year and he's still going to his office every day.
Wow.
And by the way, to go back to the longevity banking card, so I know that they have plans also to hire people older than 100 years as a testers for the products in age tech.
That's incredible. It's so the changes are truly going to impact every part of society.
Indeed, it's kind of inevitable, I would say.
It'll be interesting following Elon Musk's concept of interplanetary species and how to adapt that medicine for not just the environments around our globe, but multiple globes. As we have researchers on the moon, as we start expanding out into Mars, that'll be interesting research as well. I imagine a whole new boom happening there as well.
No, next week we're launching a new company, Space Tech Analytics. So that company will be focused on space tech industry on global scale. But one of the major priorities will be space medicine, because it is crucial, it's essential for space exploration. That astronauts and their health will have inevitably be enhanced, and this is very, very close, has close interconnection with kind of longevity, because those technologies, if they will be working in space in extremely harsh environments, aggressive against humans, apparently those technologies being applied on Earth, they will be able to provide like very significant strong effects on human life extension. By the way, I'm using myself on my own body for my life extension, some techniques which are coming from some research projects which started back in the times of USSR and were applied to Soviet cosmonauts. So since that time, that equipment which they're using, back in the 1980s, it was improved. It was let's say renovated, and nowadays I'm using such techniques and technology equipment for my own health and actually rejuvenation.
What are is any of that something you can share that people can pick up on and do for themselves?
Yes, if you go to our YouTube channel, Dmitry Group, you will see we recently made a webinar named Practical Longevity, and I'm explaining there what I'm doing, what equipment we're using, and even showing what particular results I achieved. This is, to put it simple, this is related to hyperbaric, hyperoxia breathing, so altitude intermittent breathing. So these techniques are using, for example, divers, alpinists, kind of Olympic sportsmen, which are aiming to achieve extra results in terms of their physical performance. But this is also working on brains, so it's enforcing not only muscles but also neurons and brains and cardiovascular system. So it's multiple. These techniques they're providing multiple positive impact on many systems within the body.
It's amazing, and I'm hearing about it more and more, but how important breathing is to the human body to reduce your energy level, to increase your energy level, to keep you in a balanced state, physical health, from what you're saying. That's amazing, actually. So if we're looking at 2 to 3 years for some of this to start hitting the marketplace, is that for the average person, or are we looking at platinum level healthcare, and then it's still going to be a couple more years as it pushes down into the market?
Do you have smartphone?
Absolutely.
So I assume that in nowadays smartphone, very good smartphone, would cost something around $1,000, right?
Yes.
And what do you think? How much something like even very simple model of smartphone cost back in 2010?
The simple ones?
I assume that the first smartphones they actually started to appear somewhere around 2011, maybe 2012. So
my first phone ever that plan was super expensive. I paid by the minute.
Yeah. So my point is that you see, smartphones are now absolutely common. Everybody using them. Even there are smartphones that people are using in Africa. They're buying them for $50. So it's the simplest models of smartphones. But just 10 years ago, I think that only billionaires could afford themselves to buy smartphones. You see what I mean? So indeed, there will be in the next 5-10 years, there will be super advanced technologies to extend life of people which are very unhealthy and late stage, and this will cost a lot. So we'll talk about millions of dollars maybe per year. However, many of these technologies, especially for people who are younger and yet healthier and do not have significant issues with health, so technology for them, for their maintenance of state of precision health, this will tend exponentially decrease the price. So it will be cheaper, and eventually, I think that many governments or maybe corporations, they will provide these services free of charge for their citizens or their employees.
Wow, because it becomes so nominal as far as cost. And then I would imagine even on the older population, as things progress, that technology is going to mature, it's going to scale out. And so even for them, certain things will come down in cost.
Exactly. My point is that what is now affordable only, for super rich people, in 10 years from now, it will be fraction of the cost and it will be absolutely affordable for average, people with even low incomes. And I think that when now there's a lot of initiatives about, basic income, guaranteed basic income by government. So I'm quite sure that in 5 to 10 years, many governments will provide guaranteed healthcare insurance, whereas insurance and healthcare will be focused on prevention, on longevity rather than treatment.
So as we're getting into physical health and longevity, where does mental health fit into the conversation?
Well, it's a very important question. And when we are talking about longevity, we first of all shall talk about health of brains, because it don't make sense to extend, life of body, but with unhealthy brains. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So, and vice versa. It makes sense to extend, health of brains, even if body is not very healthy. So that's why health of mental health and in general kind of health of brains, it's number one priority. And also uh, it's also about so so we are talking about biological age, right? Biological aging, but there's also psychological aging, and that psychological aging is boosting biological aging, and vice versa. If people psychologically they're feeling younger, if they, if they're acting as younger people, this actually helping them, to slow down their biological age.
The placebo effect. The mind has so much impact on the body. Is that?
I don't think it's placebo. It's actually, with this kind of like with younger psychology, this is having impact on multiple, biological mechanisms in the body.
So we're talking physical changes in the brain as far as thinking, or is it also a worldview? Are we looking at outlook, or are we looking at physically, like keeping the connections going?
It's all interconnected, in some way.
Okay, so it's
and I think
reframing
that
as well as
science
biology.
yet, will need to analyze more precisely in what particular form all this psychological, neurological, and neurotech technologies, how this actually will, what is the exact impact on biological aging and healthy longevity. But it's absolutely clear that it's somehow interconnected. Yet the science will have to, to find the more specific, exact answers.
So as we invest in this marketplace, is there a line or a difference in the types of research that we open up to the public and then that which we patent? Is it different kinds? How do you think about that line?
Sorry, can you reiterate this question?
So like with artificial intelligence research, there's the public publishing of papers like in archive, and there's an open dialogue there. But then say for Google, they want to hold some of that back because they have this amazing product that allows people to search and it adds a lot of value. So they want to have that patented. Yeah.
Understood. So one of our initiatives, the project named, so it's actually a website, longevity.international. It's a IT platform. We, like several of our analytical companies, doing aging finance agency. So a lot of projects which we consider that it can provide significant positive impact on further growth of longevity ecosystem. So the company transferred free of charge a lot of data and information to that project, and we are aiming that project will be international and decentralized, with the aim to deliver to humans some knowledge and techniques and access to some technologies, just kind of knowledge, expertise, information, to ensure that access to longevity technologies are having not only wealthy people in some developed countries, but also people from developing countries, with whereas, for example, science and medicine are not that developed. However, in terms of extending health period of life, it's not only about extending life of all people, but also in reality we shall talk about full cycle, taking care about like child's, because it's very important first years of life, and then making significant positive negative impact in later stages on the health and immune system. It's also going back when women are pregnant. It's also very important to maintain health of mothers while they're pregnant, and even more to maintain their health before pregnancy. So this, all the cycles, the responsible governments shall take care about all this full cycle, and this is the way, and let's say the right approach how to extend the actual healthy period of life of citizens. And in other projects, again, which we decided to publish openly on open access approach, it's ecosystem of all those companies, laboratories, scientists who are working on biomarkers of aging longevity. So again, this is our, this is our approach, that most crucial, most important parts of which can provide impact on particularly, solving the bottlenecks for the industry. So it's our mission to aggregate information and publish it openly, because we do believe that this is kind of crucial. This is important for further growth of the industry, and with that, we kind of making a lot of this kind of projects on just kind of free of charge basis.
That's amazing.
I mean, because we do generate some profit with our commercial products, and we kind of we do have enough of that profit, and we do think that health longevity, it's a very important topic, and it's not about just generating profits. There's quite a lot of other industries where you can generate profit. Longevity industry, it's important that it's one of the best way to make a business, because you can make profit, but also you can make something very good and enjoy the kind of the results.
So with the data, as we aggregate it, from my understanding, the more data that we have, the more we can analyze and make better decisions. How do we protect that data and the citizens that are participating? Because I mean, if we truly expand global healthcare, then it'll almost, I would imagine the ideal would be a one-to-one relationship with data.
Exactly. Again, the very right question. There are a number of projects already existing, already kind of market ready, and people are using actually there. So they're blockchain based. So it's health and life data wallets on blockchain technology with super encryption, with super cybersecurity defense, and this is the right way how you shall keep and protect your data. Plus to that, that data you can grant in a very trackable mode access to doctors, to some consultants, maybe some kind of another service, maybe insurance companies, and you can monitor to what exact parts of the data they have access, and in what capacity. You can regulate it with that live data wallets. At least those products which we are including into our ecosystem. For example, clients of longevity bank card, they will have free of charge access to such wallets.
Wow.
In some cases, for example, those solutions, they're providing such features that you can share the data, but in an anonymized way, in the sense that, for example, you can discuss with some, let's say, telemedicine doctor,
yep.
And doctor will have access to the data or part of the data, but for example, there will be no assigning with your surname. So in some cases, you can share the data in kind of personalized way, in the sense that it will be assigned with you, associated with you. In some cases, it will be anonymized. In some cases, you will be able to provide only part of the data, maybe for full access. So it's you will be CEO and master of holder of your data. This is the right approach, especially when we are talking about kind of personal health and that kind of information.
That's incredible, and obviously extremely important. And that's really, now when considering the blockchain, does it become its own blockchain, or are we talking like a particular technology, say like the Ethereum blockchain? Is it different? How does that work?
I think that different projects will use different backend.
Different pieces.
Ethereum, maybe. I assume that I assume that most of them are using Ethereum, but I also assume that there will be, like, with every year there will be more and more such specific solutions, and maybe they will use other protocols.
Now, here's kind of a fun question. One of the things that I joke about with people that I talk to is I'm going to live forever by backing myself up into the cloud, and I'll become a digital being. And then I want to drop myself in some sort of android body when I want a physical existence. Is that totally sci-fi, or do we? Because I imagine with longevity, the biggest challenge I see is an accident, the thing that we can't be prepared for. So is part of this longevity research or dialogue, is anybody being serious about understanding the consciousness in having some sort of backup for it in case of an accident?
Okay, so now it is 2021, and it's the period of so-called fourth industrial revolution.
Yes.
Our estimations in 2030, there will be achieved a level of fifth industrial revolution. By predictions of Ray Kurzweil, Singularity, or in other words, sixth industrial revolution, will be achieved somewhere around 2045. One of the components of the Singularity, again by his predictions, it will be technology for mind upload. So this is so-called digital immortality, right? Now, being now in 2021, it's not clear how the technology will work, in what format, in what mode, whether it is at all possible or not. I think once we'll be around 2030 and the fifth industrial revolution already will be in place, from that position, maybe it will be more tangible and more kind of practically doable to forecast what will be in 2045 and whether this mind upload and digital mortality will be doable or not, or if yes, in what form, in what exact form. Whereas we are focused on what will happen in the next 5 to 10 years, and and we are focused not on immortality but on so-called escape velocity. Escape velocity, this is the stage when the speed of you are aging for 1 year during a year, but the quality of scientific progress, particularly in biomedicine longevity, is exceeding that, in the sense that it's accelerating with such pace that every next year you are living, you're actually getting more and more technologies which are capable to slow down your aging or even reverse. So this is the escape velocity. And I think that for people who are younger than 60 years now, for them this escape velocity will be achieved by 2030. Whereas for people who are, let's say, 70, 80 years now, maybe they're having already some issues with immune system, with some pathologies. So for them, escape velocity will be achieved somewhere around 2035. Okay. In other words, technologies which are required to, to kind of stop aging for younger people, it's much more simpler, and it's be achieved with, let's say, low tech. Whereas for all people who already have some, health conditions, so for them will require really advanced tech, more advanced than we are having now.
This is really good news for the people that are going to be watching this and listening to this. I do want to touch on one term in case people are unfamiliar with it. My understanding, correct me here, is that the singularity is when the total amount of computing power combined becomes more intelligent than all humans combined. Is that, and so we're able to leverage that kind of computing power to do, at this point, almost unimaginable things. Is that a fair assessment? How would you describe the singularity?
I think that apparently this is one of the components for singularity, as you mentioned. But technically speaking, it's when the speed of progress within one particular period of time is so significant that it's just kind of like the curve of the progress. It's becoming almost vertical. So from horizontal and linear growth, so becoming at some point of time so exponential that it's becoming like extremely quick, and this is how this is why it is named Singularity.
Will health tech have to address, so it will be able to sustain lives? Is there a psychological effect on the increased speed of technological evolution?
Yes, apparently, um, we do see that even now, the speed of innovations, the speed of progress is extreme. So for many people, they barely kind of coping with this speed of innovations. For example, just 5 years ago, it was not that quick. 10 years ago, it was absolutely normal in the sense that there was not no such super acceleration. But the point is that in the next years, especially in the next 5 to 10 years, the acceleration will increase so significant that apparently for people, it will create a lot of psychological problems, because most of the people just will be not able, to, let's say, keep aligned with that incredibly quick speed of progress and innovations. So this is, for many people, it will be a problem, but for other many people, it will be extreme opportunity, because especially for younger people with, let's say, better neuroplasticity, in the sense that, capability of brains and neurons to adapt to kind of changing environment.
So I mean, but then there's going to be entrepreneurs that hopefully will see that challenge for the people that do have a negative impact and provide value to those people to help them reap the rewards. Because as you said, the psychological component, the brain, is the priority at this point. So I would imagine people would want to do, I don't see us going backwards. So if we're going to continue to move faster, it will have to be addressed just for a healthy society.
Of course. So we have also a specific analytical company, Neurotech Analytics. So that company is focused on neuro technologies, including optimization of psychological issues. And believe me, there's a lot of companies with practical applications already now, which already now can help people with such issues. But of course, this challenge of super quick innovations and extremely quickly changing environment. I mean, not natural environment, but a kind of technological and social environments, how society will change because of this pressure of progressive technology. So apparently, there will be companies which will provide some kind of optimization on that matter for people who will, let's say, have issues, around this kind of challenge.
That'll be neat. For the people that are interested in getting into longevity and want to understand more, I mean, my first gut reaction is to point them to your social media, because that will connect them to a wealth of information. How would you recommend somebody initiate themselves into this ecosystem?
Yeah, so first of all, I would recommend to read my book, and you can get access to the book through website longevity-book.com. So the first book, Longevity Industry 1.0, defining the biggest and most complex industry in human history. This is about, how to understand the industry, how to provide the framework, the mind map, how to actually understand what is the longevity industry, and some basic inputs about science of aging, about medicine of longevity, about longevity financial industry, about even longevity, some components about longevity politics. At that website, during this year, we are going to publish several new books, including longevity politics, longevity financial industry, practical longevity, how to celebrate, practical guide how to celebrate your 123rd birthday. And then eventually at the end of the year, we'll publish Longevity Industry 2.0, deep tech engineering of positive trajectory of human longevity. So if you subscribe to that website, so you will see all this, updates on these books. Regarding understanding longevity ecosystem in general. So go to longevity.international. There you will see 20,000 companies, 9,000 investors, several tens of thousands of personalities, including scientists and different, notable persons in the longevity field. And also this project about biomarkers of longevity. So longevity.international. And about, in general, about our consortium, our website is dkv.global. So there's, some kind of also projects we are doing on, let's say, COVID analytics. For example, we're analyzing and forecasting COVID safety in different countries. And there's quite a lot of other projects, including, some research on artificial intelligence. We're profiling artificial intelligence industries in UK, Europe, and a number of other countries.
So let's wrap with that question in terms of governments, because you do your work internationally. Are you seeing any pushback from governments, or are you starting to get, is it more of a everybody sees it and wants to get on board?
It's very different countries, but there are countries where governments, or at least some particular people, let's say in healthcare ministries, they're like really onboarding this idea of health longevity, preventive healthcare, early stage detection. So there are a number of progressive countries. I would say that it's Singapore. For example, in Singapore, there's the highest health life expectancy. So on average, their citizens are living in health stage up to 87 years, and only last 6 years they're living unhealthy. In case of Hong Kong, the highest life expectancy, but not the best health life expectancy. So this gap, if in case of Singapore, it's 6 years, the best in the world. In Japan, it's 7 years, so-called DALI, disabled life years. So this is like last years in the life which are kind of, unhealthy, and people are suffering from age-related disease and that number of other diseases. For example, in case of United Kingdom, I mentioned that there's even parliamentary group on longevity, and government in the UK 5 years ago, they appointed, healthy aging and national industrial priority national industrial strategy, along with artificial intelligence, by the way. So UK and matter one of the most progressive countries. There's also, some interesting, let's say, activities in Switzerland, Israel, United Arab Emirates.
It's diverse, the amount of people and countries that are you what are you seeing with Canada and the United States? Is there any innovation happening there?
Well, Canada is a quite active country in the field of aging research, in the field of artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence apparently will provide a lot of positive impact on healthcare. So I would say, in Canada things are good. Or let's say tends to be good. In the United States, there's a lot of issues. In the United States, it's in this sense, it's a problematic country. There's incredible gap between, because the science of aging is very advanced. However, the healthcare system is very inefficient, and that's why, in case of US, the gap between healthy life expectancy and life expectancy is close to 11 years, which is one of the worst in the world. Plus to that, Singapore is spending only 4% of their GDP on healthcare, achieving the highest health life expectancy, whereas the United States spending almost 20% of their GDP on anything related to healthcare. I think something around, to be more exact, I think 17%, but achieving only something. Don't remember exactly, but it's quite significantly lower compared to Singapore or Japan in terms of health life expectancy.
That's awful. And
yeah,
what
but
about...
on the other hand, I think that in particular in the United States, there's a lot of opportunities how gov tech technology, optimization of government technology, especially with digital solutions, maybe even with blockchain, artificial intelligence. There's a lot of opportunities how the station could be improved and quite quickly, just in terms of optimization, because there's so significant budget that they indeed can, achieve anything what they want. It's just the question, what are the priorities? And if US government will set up the topic of health longevity as a priority, for them it will be very much doable in quite, quick time. So we're talking not about decades, we're talking about just years.
That would be beautiful. Hopefully it gets to that place. And what about the Latin countries, Spain, Portugal, South and Central America, Mexico? Is there anything happening there yet?
Well, let's say, in many countries, we do see some activities, but I wouldn't say that those countries which you mentioned, they're kind of could be considered currently as leaders, or let's say, as active players. Not yet, but let's say there are people indeed which are, providing some initiatives, including Portugal and Spain and Brazil.
Fantastic. Dmitry, I could keep going for hours on this with you. You're a wealth of information. I really appreciate you taking the time to have this call. Good luck with the book. Looking forward to reading that. Everybody check out the website, check out Dmitry's socials. There's a ton of information on there, thousands of companies for you to look at. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was my great pleasure.